It's Saturday again. It's awkward. These guys are trying to work and I'm strapping a camera to my head. Priorities. So today we're going to do something a little different. We're heading the opposite direction. We're heading south of Los Angeles. We're going to go past the airport, run down the coast a little bit. It's going to be a slow, somewhat tedious journey. There's a reason why I don't come out here on the weekends, but I was here anyway to pick up some new blinkers because mine are huge and they have to go. Funny, I like taking personal bets on what car, when they're standing side by side, is going to take off faster. You stereotype based upon the car brand and who might be driving it, but it's funny, oftentimes the fastest cars take off the most slowly. It's either because there's an old person driving it because they can finally afford a nice car, or they just bought the car to just be a poser and they don't actually like using the engine that it has at all, and so they trickle away. I'm not saying you have to take off from lights like you're a bat out of hell, but if you're in a brand new Corvette and you trickle away at 3 miles an hour just rolling down the road, I have a problem with that because people have to get places. Ah, the urgent care next to the airport. The stories that place must have to tell. This LAX, this is like a mini economy in itself. I mean, obviously you have the traffic coming in and out of the airport, which is just huge. But all the affiliated businesses around here, the car parks, the medical services for people getting off planes or on planes, even scarier. The restaurants, the prostitution, cab drivers, all of it. It's quite a scene. I'm glad my daily life doesn't involve hanging around the airport, I have to say. Even though we can adapt to anything, it's not something I want to adapt to. It tends to change you just a little bit. As I mentioned, we're heading south, and we're gonna IHOP. It sounds good now. We're gonna get there is like Manhattan Beach, Huntington Beach. Actually, I don't know about Huntington Beach. I'm a transplant. Give me a break. Redondo Beach, that's certainly down here. And then beyond that, there's a area called Palos Verdes, kind of like an upscale suburb. North of Long Beach. And it has some good scenery. I don't know about the roads. We're going to check it out. So this is one of the main streets going to Manhattan Beach. People love Manhattan Beach. little swanky. A lot of like little shops for the ladies, or gentlemen that like to shop. But like most popular beach destinations, it's crammed. It's hardly what I would consider a weekend. Surrounding yourself with a bunch of desperate people trying to park their caravans. It's just gross. So we have some bike updates. I just won. I put new levers on. They just looked out of place with the new bar and the new grips. Everything was looking a little more classy, a little more quality. And then you had those sort of generic levers, steel levers that were just big and fugly. So take a look at those in a little bit. This is where things get dangerous. Look at that guy. I certainly hope you have to turn somewhere, otherwise there's no excuse for that shit. We're walking through this, you're gonna be snappy, because if cars start to move, there are variables unaccounted for that could lead to you getting run over. See, my lane splitting at this point is purely functional, and sometimes not even that. But I do get places quicker. See, a lot of movement in the traffic, cars moving. I mean, you just have to be super vigilant. Luckily, it's low speed, but there's so many SUVs around here. I really don't feel like getting run over. Check this out, just food for dogs. The place could only survive in a few places on Earth. I'm thinking Manhattan, San Francisco, and right around here. See, another Tahoe that's kind of a dick. Just like hurling that fucking beast of a vehicle around. So I've only driven this road at night. Kind of one of those breakout drives. When it's late and you just want to get out of your area and you just go a little bit further than you planned on going. That's when I wind up in this area. And it's open at night, so I can kind of blast through a little bit. This guy's gonna be splitting too. It's kind of pathetic. I keep my revs up in second gear in traffic so people can hear me. I need to get an exhaust. So in California, I was just told by the dealer that they expose themselves to an enormous fine if they sell exhausts that are not considered legal to use in the street in California. Which to me is funny, because if you use it on a track, it's all about claimed use, not actual use. So they couldn't get me an exhaust. Back to the old internet. Then they were telling me that I had to have it shipped to an address outside of California. Now, I haven't actually pulled the trigger on an exhaust yet or tried to order one, so I can't say if that's true or not, but I find it hard to believe that everyone owning an FZ07 with a new exhaust in California has the thing shipped to Nevada or somewhere else. Look at that little bike. Another Grom. I think Groms are probably pretty good to learn on. I mean, You can really hurl that sucker around and you get used to the controls. Problem is, I don't know what the resale on those things is, but I would assume after like 2-3 months you'd just have enough of it. See, this lightens up when I break through. This is why I don't come out here, because you kind of have to pay this price. Change your mind. And I haven't established that there's actually anything out here that's worth it. What's there to see, you know? I can't tell you how many S5s are around here. It's like the go-to car for any kid whose parents have the money to afford it. And I think it's only people that drive it. I think it's only people who are between the ages of like 18 and 30. I'm not saying the car itself in any way lacks maturity or wouldn't be fitting for someone who's a bit older, because it certainly would be. It's just a fact around here. It's very strange. So for all of you that live in normal parts of the world where 18-year-olds don't drive S5s, I'm sorry you have to see this, but it's a reality in Los Angeles. It's a little disturbing. As long as you realize that they're losing out in a very important part of life. Need I say more? I drove around in a it's like a 10 or 11-year-old Integra, Acura Integra. Bit of a rust bucket, but it did the job. High school, early college. Sold the car to a friend, and it must have been within a week or two that. Anyway, sold the car within a week or two. Some guy that was sold as being incredibly drunk merged left off of a freeway ramp. The freeway was merging onto the main route in town. He was merging left. She was in the right-hand lane on the regular road. Paths basically collided. Long story short, the car rolled over. Both cars rolled over. This guy was in a pickup truck. I don't think he was wearing a seatbelt, and he wound up getting decapitated or nearly decapitated. She was a little disturbed for quite a while, if you could imagine. Not an everyday kind of thing. I love when people have school stickers in their car. There's this one. It's always funny to me. Like, it seems to me, very rarely do you see like a average school. It's like no name, like horrible schools or Ivy League schools, and the Ivy League ones are always on shitbox cars. I'm not saying people don't deserve to own the shitbox cars, but it's funny because it's just like an insecurity thing. You think, like, even though I drive this 1973 Volvo, I went to Brown, everything's okay. It's my choice. I could be making a lot of money if I wanted to. I mean, that's the message you're putting out there, whether it's intentional or not. And it's pretty funny, actually. That's a nice blinker. I like that. Guess what? It's another Tahoe and another one on my ass doing like 60 down that road. I mean, I just have a problem with behemoths moving at that rate of speed and driving so callously. That's my problem. It's not the actual rate of speed that they're traveling at. It's just they don't consider the size of their shit box they're moving around in. You're effectively driving around in that van right there aggressively, which bothers the hell out of me. Never mind the fact that most of them are occupied by one individual or someone that has like 2 kids, and they're basically driving around with like a metal box the size of an apartment on the road, blowing through gas. I mean, it's just the epitome of inconsideration. It's poor AMG. You know, it's Saturday. He just wants to hear that engine roar, and he's got these friggin' people in front of him. I know what you're getting at. I understand your plight. And the exhaust engine sound on this thing, I wouldn't say it's pretty enough for me to want to hear it. So I really don't understand it, because those AMGs all sound beautiful. Love the sound of those AMGs. Oh yeah, it's all coming back to me now. So this road I'm gonna veer right on runs along the coast, and you get these sort of peekaboo views of the ocean. No, that's not a term. That was just invented. What exactly is going on here? Okay. It's ridiculous. Slow, go slow. I mean, look at, did you guys see that? Look at this cliff. Can you imagine a point in history when this whole coast was just barren? It was just a vista. Rancho Palos Verdes. Nice place to be. Kind of have to check this out. This is awesome. I think you hear the bass of a jackass. Not surprising on a Saturday. Everyone wants to hear a little shitty bass. Is it you? Or just stare at you? That guy's not shady. Alright. People make it too easy to make fun of him. I mean, seriously. A 60-something or 70-year-old guy in tight running pants. Is the wind resistance associated with a pair of shorts or regular sweatpants that extreme? Does it lead to injury? Because there'd have to be some pretty severe consequence to not wearing those spandex pants in order to get me to wear those. Especially when you're 60 or 70 years old. That is just ridiculous. And he's got a mustache and spandex pants. He's like 70, and he's walking now. Maybe he was running at some point, but dear God, have you no shame? I'm angry because I actually admire the guy. I'm jealous. How can someone walk around with that little shame? I mean, he must be so free in his life. He can do anything. If you walk around in spandex pants at that age with a stash, you can do anything. Pink slippers, funny outfits, just go outside naked, all of it. None of that is any worse than when you just pulled off. Just a little cute area. Looking to see this sort of opens up ever, you know, without stop signs, a nice coastal view, some curves. It may never happen. May all be just a wish. But that's why we're here. It is pretty scenic, but it seems that the driving part of this area is very limited. More suitable for a cruiser, I would think. Constant land movements? What the? I've never seen that sign before. I have no idea what that, what is that? A perpetual earthquake? Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah, not safe. Could be coming down a hill on a coastline, blind corner, and just hit a jump for no reason. This is where the suspension is having some issues, by the way. I'm bouncing all over the place. Very bouncy. I almost can't speak. Okay. Constant land movements. Is that what's causing the huge fissures in the road, like every 15 feet? These land movements? I think the surface is enough. I don't think we need any land movements occurring. Yeah, learning how to ride a bike during an earthquake isn't a skill I wish to acquire. Like these guys here, I mean, there's going to be at least a second in a blind spot. You can make it quick, make some noise, make sure they hear you coming from behind. That's one thing when I just get an exhaust. I don't know why I keep putting this off. I do want it because I'm moving and it's callous spending. But I think in an area as populated as this, it's really a major safety concern, and I'd recommend it if your bike, if you live in an urban area in particular with, you know, it's a lot of moving vehicles and higher risk. This. Oops, get through there. Here we go. To get an exhaust when you get your bike. Just budget for it. It also fits in with the concept of maybe buying a cheaper bike so you can get the correct gear and the appropriate exhaust before you get on the road, just so you can be safe. instead of saying to yourself, oh, I just bought a bike, I can't afford all this stuff, when it's absolutely a necessity. You can actually save a lot of time just skipping through stopped vehicles. You don't have to go blowing past people that are already doing 30-40 miles an hour. Another thing I'm starting to pick up for this lane splitting thing, when I first did it, you're so tentative because it's abnormal, and first of all you feel like a dick because you're skipping traffic, and that is considered a social crime, at least unofficially. And then you do it so slowly because you're scared about banging into somebody's mirror if you go too fast, or not being able to stop if you go too fast. So I think going so fast that you can't get on your brakes quickly enough, that's the concern. So you gotta keep an eye open for that. But if you go too slow, if you lane split too slowly, you can't keep your balance. It's like one of those slow races, but you got cars on each side of you. It's a ridiculous thing to do, so you gotta carry some speed, you know, 5-10 miles an hour. It just makes it easier. It makes it easier to maneuver. It makes it easier to keep your balance in a straight line. So if you're like me and you're just out there starting, you're gonna go slow. It's just, I think it's a natural response to being new at this. But try to stay cognizant of the fact that if you carry a little more speed, it might make things a little easier for you. Yeah, I'm like in survival mode at this point. I just want to get through. Hopefully this Jeep's not turning. Anyone in a crosswalk? No. Check out that puppy. I like to see a gap between 2 or 3 parallel vehicles before I shoot through it. Because, I mean, if you split like one car and then you can't get through the mirrors in the next, it's kind of a bad move. Once again, you want to keep the social peace. You start, you know, going out of your way to skip one car. It's not going to look so good. Yeah, get away from me. This is a potential win. Just squeeze through here. Nobody said you didn't have to work for it. Try not to be a dick today. Knock through the single car split. I figured one of these people would take off faster than the other. That'll give me the weave. Now, you run into a problem when both these cars, the CTS and this Tundra, take off at a wicked slow pace. Because I always should no options. It's like the Great Wall of shit. I've decided to put chrome rims on a Pontiac. It's just a bad idea. Man, I hate chrome. Come on, baby. Give me the green. Who's gonna win this race? Oh, the Tundra did it. I should have known. These CTSs, they're being, yeah, they're driven by younger folks too. That was the whole point of kind of revamping that Cadillac line, and that's one of the vehicles here. But what happened is some of these CTS drivers, they're like 100 years old. No more DeVille? Fine, I'll get a CTS. Sometimes if we're lucky, when we pass the airport runway, you can get a plane dropping right next to you. It's kind of fun. by you guys if possible. Just get by a few of you. The slowest of the herd, if you will. So all these cars on the right, they're going to be looking to get into the airport. All terminals, as you can see up there. So you gotta stay to the left and be ready for cars that are on the right to see the traffic on the right and jump left